Could you not? Out of the way, bud. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and we also hopefully have sound this time. I did not have sound last time. I apologize. That was moderately embarrassing, to be honest with you. All right, so we just have a brand new tornado warning approaching Brownsburg. It is just west of Indianapolis, and this thing has been trying to get its act together for a minute. We may have a secondary rotation actually right here. I'm watching that near Jamestown. There's a little chink in the line, but this is what we're really talking about. We've got pretty major amount of spectrum width going on here. Lots of turbulence in the inflow. Can't tell. I don't think that we have a CC drop at all. Edmund, it would be great if you stopped playing with that. Thank you. My cat is right there. He's being disruptive as usual. But anyway, we have a decent amount of rotation going on here. It looks like kind of a QLCS adjacent event, kind of an embedded supercell. It's not doing a lot right now, but if it wraps up, we are going to be in trouble. So in that case, Brownsburg, Pittsburgh, Liston, you should be in the clear unless this decides to spin up something here, which it may, so keep an eye on that. Brownsburg is going to be right in the sights of this thing, as well as Pittsburgh. Y'all have about 5 to 10 minutes at most to prepare. Please be in your safe place. Either way, there's going to be a lot of hail and high winds with this, so do take it seriously. Be ready to shelter, or sheltered already, preferably. We also have 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts and quarter-sized hail, which is no surprise given the reflectivities here. We have a massive hail core on that thing. Expect probably some sighting and potentially some car damage with that as well. As of now, that is pretty much the only ongoing tornado warning. I'm going to make sure to update my counts here. We are currently up to 8 reports of tornadoes today. We have 1 tornado warning active, and that is, again, near the one near Indianapolis. Logansport, let's see what's going on up here. We have a mildly threatening looking storm in this area. I'm gonna have to keep an eye out for that. Let's check another radar station. Broad rotation in that storm, but for the most part it just looks like it is a hailer for the moment. Keep an eye on that though. It does have inflow and could wrap up here in the next couple of minutes. I would not be surprised to see that at all. We are moving out of peak time for tornadoes as of forecasted. However, that does not mean they're going to go away, because things tend to happen after dark pretty rapidly. Edmund, could you stop being distracting? No, don't take my sound... Hey! He's taking my soundproofing off the wall, you doofus. Get down. Get down. Ugh. Out you go. Out you go. Alright, we're going to put him away for now because he's kind of in crazy guy mode, so... Alright, again, 1 tornado warning. Doesn't look like there's a lot in there, but there is rotation. National Weather Service has seen fit to release a tornado warning for it. I can't tell if that is hail or debris. We may have a debris signature in there. Let's get the loop loading and take a look at it here. Go down the layers. That's going to be hard to... Wow, we may have a fairly serious tornado on this one. No, we don't. That is inflow. That is probably a little bit of hail. I don't think... Yeah, that is not debris. Confirm that is not a debris ball. However, that does not mean there's not a tornado on the ground. So again, Pittsburgh and Brownsburg, y'all need to take this seriously. I don't believe we have any other towns in the way at the moment. Just beyond there, we're going to be looking at Meridian Hills, Zionville, Carmel. All of y'all be prepared if this ends up being a fairly long tracked one. All of North Indianapolis needs to be on alert for this storm. This is a dangerous storm, so please take it seriously. All right, what else we got going on? Aside from that, that is pretty much, yet again, our only tornado warning at the moment. Not a lot else happening. There is some weather headed down towards my area here, actually. So we are going to have to keep an eye on that. Let's take a look at these storms down to the south. Now, these do have a tornado threat. As you can see, there is a little bit of rotation in here. Not a lot, but a little. There is plenty of shear. I can tell you, I was just outside, and we have many different layers going many different directions. There is plenty of shear down here. It is just a matter of enough instability and enough moisture. And as of now, hopefully we don't have either of those, but we are going to have to keep a lookout. Middle Tennessee, you're going to want to watch out because we do have some supercell structures going up. This little kidney bean shape here is going to be the thing you want to look out for. That does indicate we may have a little bit of rotation and sufficient shear in the atmosphere. I am not liking the look of that. Princeton, Dawson Springs, Arlington, Madisonville, Nebo, y'all all need to be on alert. We may get a tornado out of this one. It is looking potentially favorable for tornado development. We do have elongated hodographs and a skew T that would favor tornado development here, although that does depend on if these storms can be surface-based or not. That's the biggest issue right now, is we have almost a little bit of a capping inversion preventing any surface-based storms, which is necessary for tornado development. Tornado watch is mentioned in the severe thunderstorm warning for this, but as of now there is no tornado possible tag, so we'll keep an eye on that for the next update. Up here near Jasper in southern Indiana, we also have another set of storms, and I think we may have a potentially developing tornado right here as well. It's starting to get that shape, starting to get that look. There's a little bit of rotation in the atmosphere. Again, there's not a lot, but it is there, so keep an eye on that. Jasper and French Lick, there's a town name. Y'all keep an eye on that. We may have a tornado. There's a tornado possible tag with that as well, so this thing could drop a twister out of nowhere. Jasper, please be in your safe place or ready to go the second the National Weather Service deems fit to drop a warning there. Yeah, there's something. That's a hail core. I am 100% sure that's a hail core, but either way, that is still a very powerful storm, so please be careful and take it seriously. That may not be a hail core. What is going on there? Do we have a tornado on the ground? I don't know. It's hard to tell, but what is that? Again, assuming it's hail, but that is a very significant return there. Jasper, please, if you are watching this, get to your safe place. We're going to send a tweet out real quick of this because that is concerning. Yet again, almost 100% sure that that's hail, but if it's not, that is a damaging tornado. Again, not saying anything, but we have a tornado possible tag. We have rotation. We have the look for that storm. Please be very, very careful with it and take it seriously. Go ahead and tweet that out, see if we can get any input from the rest of the weather community, because there are people far smarter than me out there doing this right now. And yet again, this is in Indiana, southern Indiana. All right, moving back up to our Indianapolis tornado warning. Let's look at this again. See if it's shaped up at all. Not seeing a lot. Looks like it is probably gusting out, but it is in a very prime environment for developing again. So yet again, Brownsburg, Pittsburgh, and Zionsville specifically, anywhere in between this area here, please be ready for a tornado warning if this decides to wrap up again. We've got a bit of an RFD coming down here. It's got the shape. I think it's gusting out, but there is no guarantee that it's going to stay that way. So let's be careful with that storm. It may spin something up here. No other tornado warnings at the moment. Southern end of the line where I am at right now. Please excuse my random clicking here. We're going to check Memphis radar, see what we got going on down in West Tennessee. All right. Look at that right there. That's what we're looking with. That's what we're looking at. These are some very interestingly shaped storms. This is a high shear environment, so if any of these can get enough juice to get going, there is a chance that we could get some rotation. As of now, no visible rotation, at least not dominant rotation on radar as of the last scan. Not particularly concerned, but we do have a merger train here. Let's see if that stuff is moving. Yeah, we're going to want to keep an eye on that. This stuff is developing very rapidly. It has a chance to merge. We've got the updraft base right there. That's coming right at me too, so we may step outside briefly and take a look at it. Again, not really worried, but that could be something. Let's keep an eye on that and watch it closely as we move forward. I keep pressing the wrong buttons. I don't do this live very often. Let's see what else we got here. Let's check the mesoanalysis. All right, well, maybe my computer's actually going to behave this time. I don't know. I don't think I've actually been showing what I've been talking about. Let's review, just in case that is. This is my first time. Again, excuse me. Let's see. Do we have any new reports? No new reports at the moment. Tornado warning has not yet expired, so we should see that come back up here in a second. Yep, still going. Let's keep an eye on that. That's still potentially a dangerous storm. We are seeing rotation continue to develop here. We're going to want to keep a very close eye on this storm. I think we may see a tornado warning here soon. It is not strong, but it has the potential to produce, which means we need to take it seriously. If there was, looks like that's mostly a hail core. Again, not super worried about that at the moment. Then the Jasper storm, however, let's see if we still have a signal. Again, very broad rotation. Again, we're seeing that debris, but I don't think it's debris. I think we just got a pretty significant amount of hail briefly. Nothing to confirm that, though, so let's keep an eye on that. That's mildly worrying, but there's not enough velocity to justify a tornado warning there, so we're going to move back up to Indianapolis, where we have this storm. Looks like they're going to let it move out of the warning area and expire, which I am not surprised by. Still very, very broad rotation in that area, but as of now, that is simply a gust front and nothing of concern. Everything up this way is kind of a mess. No visible points of rotation, although this is a very serious gust front here. I would not be shocked if we got somewhere in this area a tornado warning for a QLCS. It's got the kinematics, it's got the shear and the wind hodograph profile for it, so it's got a good chance of developing something there. But as things tend to go, the energy is moving down the line as we get later on into the evening. So my primary area of interest is going to be this train of supercells that we have going here in the Jasper storm. There's a good chance that we will see a tornado warning out of one of these storms here soon. Would not at all be surprised by that. These storms are showing pretty significant rotation. These are all very windy, likely. I think Jasper is probably gusting out. The one above it near Shoals is doing the same. This is honestly quite a look. Let's check the surface analysis, latest updated, and see what we got going on. Alright, so as of the latest forecast and the latest soundings, etc., most of these storms are moving out of the primary area of instability, so they should hopefully not be a threat too much longer. We do still have an area of significant tornado potential. Now, the interesting thing is these storms here are outpacing the favorable environment pretty significantly. The area where we would be watching, if anything were to develop in this whole area here, it could present, again, a tornado threat as the most favorable area for tornadic thunderstorms still remains back there. Got a report from, got Small Branches. That is likely, when was that, 6:30? About 20 minutes ago. So that is mostly likely straight line winds from this storm here. Not much organized rotation, although, if I am correct, we may have a merger coming in from the south, which could... That's not catching up to it. That may not merge. May have had a bird fart in there somewhere, but nothing particularly major. It does have that distinctive kidney bean shape, though, so the potential for this storm is not dead. It is definitely still there. So we'll want to keep watching that. Madisonville, Dawson Springs, keep your eye on that. Watch your local weather reports if you can, because we may see something drop out of that. Back up to the Jasper storm. It is pretty much dropping its tornado potential as of now. We still have a tornado possible tag on the warnings. Let's check the expanded warnings up here. Yep, tornado possible tag. Pretty much all of these cells here have the potential to drop a tornado or to start rotating quickly enough that it becomes a threat. But as of now, they're not doing anything. They're kind of just vibing and doing their own thing, to be honest. Let's sign our spotter network back in and see where our storm chasers are. Give that a second shot. Are we signed in? No, we're signed in. It's just not showing up right now. Well, hopefully we'll get spotters here in a second. Indianapolis, we do have a wall cloud reported on this storm as of, I'm guessing, less than 10 minutes ago. About 10 minutes ago. Yeah, we have a rotating wall cloud reported. So this storm did have tornado potential at some point. It really does not now, but it is trying. You've still got that hook with an inflow notch, so it still has inflow. It is still rotating. It still could drop a tornado. We'll keep an eye on it. It looks like it's moving out of the favorable zone for tornadoes, so we will not expect to see anything out of that anytime soon, but there is a tornado possible tag on this entire severe warning here, so it is not over as of now. Let's take another look back at these secondary cells in Illinois that have not yet reached the border. These ones closer to the surface low could surprise us. As of now, there's nothing organized in there. That said, we can see stuff form rather quickly. We do have a boundary here, so keep an eye on boundary layer storms that may want to try and drop something, but it looks like we're dropping out of the main severe mode for the day, which I am not surprised by, as this was supposed to be a primarily daytime event. Hey, Timothy. Glad you are watching while door dashing. I did door dashing for a while, actually. It is honestly a lot of fun. It's a unique experience, I will say that. Dawson Springs, expect some pretty large hail to be moving in here soon. As of now, warned for about an inch hail, which I'm not surprised by. Princeton, you're in the clear. It's probably going to be breezy and rainy for a little bit more, and then you should be good. Madisonville, Earlington, you're going to have this severe thunderstorm move in. How fast is it moving? Let's see. 50 miles an hour. So yeah, expect within the next 20-30 minutes you're probably going to be dealing with this thing. Expect a little bit of hail damage, a little bit of wind damage. 70 mile an hour wind gusts are possible. But as of now, no tornado for the moment. Taking a look back in West Tennessee here, these storms are still trying to get their act together. There's no dominant cell yet. I, in fact, am about to be slammed by this one here. It has lost that initial supercell shape, which is a bit of a relief. Clarksville, you may be under the gun tonight at some point. These little renegades ahead could merge with the main line and spin something up. Dixon is getting its own little personal experience here with what might be, pardon me, a little bit of rotation on it as well. But we are quieting down. That's an interesting little shape there. Again, very highly sheared environment. We have extremely powerful low-level winds at the moment. I can speak for that. I went out and got groceries earlier and just about got carried in and out of the doors by the wind. It is extremely breezy. Let's take a look through the upper levels of these storms here. As expected, they do not look like they're surface-based at the moment, which is not a surprise. The photographs and the SKU-T earlier today were pretty much indicating that we probably were not going to see very many surface-based storms down here, but the potential is still there for something to happen. But as of now, we are getting fairly relaxed. Let's check back in on Indianapolis. I would watch this. Don't think we're going to see anything out of it, but there's a chance that it tries to do something. We've still got that hook on this southernmost cell here. Again, not looking like it's going to do anything. But as long as the hook is there, as long as it's got this kind of curved hook echo shape, it does have severe potential and tornado potential as well. Up in our northernmost storms, we still have that very significant gust front. Looks like we've got probably a little bit of damage reported. 1-inch tree limbs broken. Not at all surprised by that. They are warning this pretty far ahead of time. 60 mile an hour wind gusts, so it's got an interesting look, but it's not doing anything crazy at the moment, so not at all shocked by that. Yeah, that's where we're at for the moment. I want to keep watching these storms back in Illinois. They, again, are not in a fantastic place, but they have more instability than these leading storms, but I think these leading storms are probably stealing the show here when it comes to the shear. So, as of now, we should be in the clear for tornado warnings. Yep, we are all good for now. Everything is comparatively and relatively calm. So we're going to keep watching these storm complexes here, because this does have the look there. And it definitely has rotation. Dawson Springs, it's going to go to your north, so just watch out for some wind gusts. Madisonville, it's still headed your way. It's definitely got a curve to it, so we're going to need to keep an eye on that. My best guess is that it is probably not particularly surface-based. So as of now, not a major threat, but we may still see a tornado warning out of this over the next 30 minutes if it manages to keep itself together. Moving north again. All of these storms up here seem to be pretty much just gusty hailers as the evening is beginning to draw to a close. I wouldn't be surprised if we got another tornado warning somewhere, but there's nothing giving me an indication that it wants to do that at the moment. If these storms here continue to be outpaced by this front or boundary that's moving through, they are probably not going to be able to do much, as they will likely be undercut. But if they're able to latch onto the boundary and feed in some favorable shear, we may see something pop up later. But as of now, there's really not much to be worried about. There's just kind of a big mass of stuff there. Still getting $half hail. We've got some non-thunderstorm and thunderstorm wind gusts. Got a damaged outbuilding. That's unfortunate. Photos provided. But as of now, there's still not much going on. We're going to go ahead and add the Indianapolis. Let's see what they're doing here. Alright, yeah, continuing severe thunderstorm warnings at the moment. Nothing to be worried about. We have that's not even fairly new. We have no new mesoscale discussions, so this is probably going to be mostly over. The one for my area down south here, and even into Mississippi and Alabama, which is interesting. Isolated, so we're not going to get much of a watch, but we could have severe hail and damaging winds. That is no surprise from what we've seen. I would say there's a fairly reasonable chance that we see a spin up somewhere this evening, especially with that look. But my guess is these storms do not have sufficient instability to warrant a strong enough updraft for a tornado. We are going to get some hail, but they're getting sheared off. It's very, very powerful shear down this way. So, honestly, this is a pretty good kind of initial stream because I have not done this sort of thing before. RAP is showing we may still maintain a pocket. We still have a pocket of 1,000 Cape up here near the border. Again, Clarksville, keep an eye on this. If we get a storm with sufficient instability, we could see a spin up. Also, what's going on here? This is probably the can confirm there's some decent cells with elevation near Starkville. Yeah, everything down south is not going to be surface based, so we're going to see some hail. Probably not going to see any tornadoes tonight. Again, can never rule out the odd tornado warning because low risk days have a weird habit of doing that. But Henderson, you're going to get gusty and rainy here soon. Jackson, here in Jackson, we are about to get, I wouldn't say hammered. We're going to get a good rain shower. I'm hoping this washes off the dust because, my word, the amount of dust that we've been getting from the storms down south has been absolutely awful. Everything is covered in a horrendous layer of dust, and it's going to take forever to wash off. We've got a reported wind gust of 64 miles an hour at the Champaign Airport, which I believe is, yeah, it's in Champaign, Illinois. Still got severe thunderstorm warnings and a new tornado watch in Indiana. Let's see what's going on with that. Yep, so we've got most of western Indiana. Actually, this is a new tornado watch behind the main system. So, yeah, back here, these storms, if they're able to get something together, we could see a spin up or two. Not expecting much, but there's definitely a chance of that. So let's look back at the radar for the moment. Now, just for clarity, this whole area here is the one included in the new tornado watch as of 1 minute ago. That is a fascinating storm shape right there. So this is the next line of concern. National Weather Service is not expecting we're going to see much out of this one. There's a chance of it, but they don't look like they're going to do much. They're kind of interacting with each other and stealing some of the inflow. Santa Claus, you're about to get some pretty major hail. Dale, you're probably getting it right now. Ferdinand, keep an eye out for hail. If you have a chance, try and move your car inside. This has a pretty decent chance of, I would say, quarter-sized hail at least. Maybe more. Damage to roof, siding, and trees expected. No tornado expected at the moment. Alright, we've got some new convection down near Newton, which may start feeding into this line up here. We are going to need to continue watching this closely, as the National Weather Service has seen it sufficient to drop a tornado watch. So, Terre Haute, don't know how to pronounce that. Somebody put it in chat if you know. Marshall, Moonshine, you're going to be fine. You might get a little bit of rain and wind here. Casey, you're going to get some rain and wind here, but there are now no warnings on this line at the moment. But if it manages to get its act together here very soon, we could still see something. So keep a very, very close eye on that. All right. Just for kicks, we are going to take a look at the latest HRRR run at 23Z, which it is running right now, actually. Reflectivity is showing that that line could get a little bit of itself going. There's a marginal tornado risk, but right here, we're seeing right there, we are probably not going to see anything surface-based because of that very thing. We do have a very slight inversion. So there will be some elevated convection and some hailers, but we are probably not going to see a tornado out of that. However, we still have a watch for it, so nothing can quite be ruled out. Let's take a look at the SIGTOR parameter. Yeah, there's a chance that we could see a little bit, but for the most part, yeah, that's probably gonna prevent any convection from being surface-based, aka we're not gonna see any tornadoes. So we'll keep an eye on this as we're going forward. I'm gonna make a quick adjustment to chat because we don't have enough chatters right now. I want it to stick around. So we're gonna turn off hiding messages for the moment. And we're gonna restart chat. Alright, so yep, as of now we're in the boring lull, which honestly may be the end of the day, to be honest with you, but you have an elevated moist layer, and we have a mixed layer because of all that dry air moving into this area. West Tennessee, very, very aggressive dry layer coming in right around the probably 600 millibar level. So that is probably going to wrap it up for the day. East Indiana, you should be in the clear, but there's a chance there may be a spin up or two at some point this evening. Again, it's probably going to stay mostly hail, which is pretty much what we've been watching for the most part up until this point. Still have 1,000 joules of CAPE down near the Kentucky and Tennessee border, so we're going to need to keep an eye on those storms. If they get sufficient mergers, we could see a spin-up tornado or two. Nothing crazy, but that's where we're at right now. Oh, Supercell Composite is still peaking right where they've issued the tornado watch, which is part of the reason they probably did. And down here over Clarksville, anybody in Clarksville, keep your weather on. Probably not going to see anything tonight, but you cannot rule it out officially. Violent tornado parameter is actually climbing in western Indiana. Yet again, another reason that they issued that watch, because there is a chance if anything manages to form in this area here, in this gap, and there it is! We have a new tornado warning. Columbus. There's nothing really in between Columbus, Jonesville, Elizabethtown, maybe Taylorsville. There is a potential tornado forming. In this cell here, it's radar indicated. We are probably not going to see it confirmed, but stranger things have happened today. We have had very, very low signature tornadoes and gustnados form, so keep a very close eye on that. Let's check the full readout. We do have a decent bit of turbulence in the inflow. There's definitely rotation there. This is essentially a warning for an imminent tornado, not one that is likely on the ground. There is not a signature for that, but it is rotating enough that it could spin one up very, very quickly. So please take cover. Columbus, prepare to take cover everywhere ahead of there. Let's see if I can pull up a map and see what's in that area. I can't type. Let's try that again. I literally can't type right now. It's fine. All right, Columbus, Indiana. What is in the area here? Christiansburg, Grandview Lake, Harrison Lake, Stonehead. Y'all all need to be watching out for this storm as it's approaching your area. Jonesville, it's going to go to your north, but stay aware. Christiansburg, y'all are probably going to be in the sights for this thing here soon. That chink right here. Yeah, Christiansburg, PJ's Towing and Recovery, New Song Mission. All these places, if you know of them, make sure if you're in there, please take cover. Ogleville Christian Church, again, Grandview Lake, all of these areas. We may be getting some hail here. But yes, this is a tornado warning officially. No debris signature yet. Definitely some hail, some inflow there. Not seeing anything major, but there is very strong upper level rotation on this storm. So if it manages to make it down to the surface, we may see a spin up tornado here. All of these areas, again, need to be sheltering. Maumee, that sounds absolutely horrible, and I don't really want to say that again. Please be sheltering as well. But that's it in that area for the most part. Spraytown, Waymansville, Mount Healthy, Grandview, Christiansburg, all of y'all are in the vicinity of this storm. It has very broad rotation, so it's hard to tell exactly where we're going to see it. Let's update, get the new tornado warning. Running on very budget setup here. I'm not paying anybody to do this, so. Going to keep an eye on this. Nothing crazy. This is not an extreme situation at all, but this is a tornado warning, so please be sheltering. Let's take a look if we have anything else going on in the rest of the line at the moment. These storms all have tornado potential. Madisonville, there's a rotation in this storm. It's not looking like it's going to be anything major yet, but it is a threat, so keep an eye on that. Madisonville, you're definitely going to get hail. Just watch out for that. That's the only main threat at the moment. We do not have any dominant rotation anywhere else on the line for the most part. The storm northeast of Dixon does have an advisory on it, but it is not warned for anything, and it does not appear to have any major structure. So keep an eye on that, but not worried at all at the moment. Highly sheared environment. We have a little bit of rotation northwest of Henderson. Not super cellular. It's just kind of turbulent out there right now, folks. Back up north in the line. Couple chinks in the line. We could see a tornado warning or two out of these. Looks like a semi-bookend vortex going on here. Nothing of concern, but there is a little bit. Don't think, no, well, there may be an unwarned tornado on the ground. Akron, Silver Lake, keep an eye on this. Do not think that is actually a debris signature, but it does match up with a very small velocity couplet that we have there. So, do we have a tornado possible tag on this? Yes, we do. All right. Akron, you need to be preparing to shelter, as this very well could be a tornado on the ground. Silver Lake, Claypool, all of y'all need to be preparing to shelter if this does get tornado warned. It is kind of a bookend vortex. Could be an embedded supercell, but I doubt it. We're going to want to keep an eye on that. Check the upper levels. That is a very, very specific. Holy moly. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we have a tornado on the ground headed into Akron. Unwarned at the moment. I would expect we're going to see a warning here soon, but we're going to go ahead and screenshot all of this and post it to socials. If my screenshot would work. Update severe thunderstorm warning. Updates tornado warning. Do not have anything yet on this storm, but we may very well have a tornado in there. Let's keep an eye on it, folks. That one could do some damage here soon. I'll go ahead and post all recent screenshots. We are still in Indiana. Yep. All right, let's keep an eye on this one. I do think we may have a brief tornado in this area. Akron, primarily East Akron, please shelter now if you hear this and have the opportunity. That very well could be a tornado on the ground. We have a tornado possible tag, and they just haven't warned it yet. Silver Lake, Claypool, please prepare to get to shelter if they do confirm this. Again, rotation is nothing crazy at all, but we have seen far less crazy things today. Little bit of a spike in spectrum width, indicating some turbulence in that area. And we do have a BWER near Akron as well, indicating the presence of a strong updraft within the storm, which yet again would not be surprised at given its location. So Akron, please, again, prepare to shelter. East Akron specifically. Let's see what's over there. Not very much, fortunately. Tony's Citywide Towing and Salvage, Akron Flea Market, Akron Vet Clinic, Midwest Fabrication Mechanical Services, Reed's Racing Unlimited, please prepare for a potential spin-up tornado. Again, can't say this for certain because it's not warned, but my word, that is definitely not a hail core. We may see a gustnado in that area. That may be what's going on at the moment. Potential debris fallout. Again, there's really not that much rotation in there, but the debris speaks otherwise. Let's check our loop. Yeah, it very easily could have been a very brief bookend spin up here. Silver Lake, keep an eye on this. Who do we have coming in here? Andrew Willard. I don't think I know him. there's still enough inflow to potentially make this a dangerous situation. We're going to keep an eye on that because that is a very significant debris signature if that is indeed what it is. Let's head back down to the Indianapolis area where we have 2 severe warned cells. This one does not appear to be much of a tornado threat anymore, but it does have, yet again, that distinctive hook here is showing that there is rotation embedded in this storm somewhere. Not at all worried about this one near Lebanon at the moment. That looks like it's going to be gusty. We may see some high winds and hail. 1 inch is forecasted at the moment. But that is it for now. Back towards the main line that we've kind of been keeping an eye on. We have a new tornado warning. Or maybe not a new one. We may have just been watching that one and I just may be stupid. Continuing into... Yeah, that was the previous one. Continuing into Columbus. Again, very, very, very broad rotation in here. But it is enough to continue the tornado warning. It has been updated and not canceled. And I'm seeing a very slight tilt, although that could be it passing near the radar. But we may still see a tornado in there. Got plenty of clean inflow headed in there. It is very large, broad rotation, but it continues, and that is a very large rotating mesocyclone. So please take this seriously. Columbus, Elizabethtown, looking like it's going to track right across here. We've got some chasers in the area. So, Hartsville, you've got some time. Please be prepared. Columbus, you're going to need to watch this. It's going to be you next if you get a warning. Anywhere between Columbus and Elizabethtown. Jonesville, if this tracks south, you may be in the path as well, so please be prepared. Checking in down south, we're going to take a look at the line. I don't think we're going to see much out of these things, but can happen in an instant. Lots of rotation, no very strong rotation at all. Nothing worrying yet. This storm is moving out of the warned area. Let's check in on the IEM bot. Reports of thunderstorm wind damage. Nothing about a tornado warning yet. Definite rotation in this storm near Ashland City. If it manages to latch onto anything, there's a chance it could go severe warned, if not tornado warned later on. Not worried about it, but it is something to keep an eye on. Pretty much all of these storms have upper level rotation, but again, we're not seeing much get surface based. Emory, Smithville, Aberdeen, you're going to have potentially some grapple in those, but some heavy rain moving in here soon. Everything has now progressed east of Jackson, and none of these are officially supercells. They're kind of mini power showers with a little bit of rotation in there, but nothing worrying. Storm near Henderson is continuing to show signs of rotation, and it may be able to get something going that warrants a severe thunderstorm warning. As of now, I'm not expecting that to happen, but it definitely is a possibility. Definitely rotation down near Mount Pleasant. Let's see what kind of motion we got going on with these storms here. Okay, definite rotation. I will say that. Upper level rotation near Hohenwald and Mount Pleasant. This area is very hilly, not fun to chase in. I speak from experience. Santa Fe, keep an eye on this, and New Hope. Thompson Station, you're going to have these roll through here. They may have some hail and high winds. Isolated tornado opportunity, not expected, but again, surface-based instability is the one that's throwing us off here because we don't have enough of it to sustain these storms. Let's keep refreshing this. Keep an eye on all of these things here. Our tornado account still at 8 tornado reports for the day. No current tornado warnings as of the National Weather Service website, which is interesting because we do have one south of Indianapolis. Let's check in on that one up here in northern Indiana. Holy moly. There is no way we don't have a tornado on the ground right now. I don't That's worrying. I don't see anything. There is rotation. There's rotation on radar. Like right in there. It's very weak, but it looks like it is kicking up debris. Silver Lake, please. Please shelter here soon. Claypool, keep an eye on this thing. There is no way that that is hail. Could be a microburst of some kind, but I really, really don't think it is. I think we have a tornado on the ground. It has not been warned yet. I'm going to go ahead and set out another screenshot. Keep people updated with that. Keep letting people know. Alright. Oh, man, we gotta keep watching that. There is absolutely a tornado on the ground. Anyone in Silver Lake needs to be taking cover now. There is absolutely at least a weak damaging tornado that has been on the ground for several minutes now. Like, let's take a look at the evolution of this. We're gonna put this on the big screen here, and we're gonna pull up the CC. So rotation started just as it passed Macy, and then we got debris, significant debris. That is a major tornado, if it is indeed on the ground. Upper levels are not showing much, but I swear it's definitely on the ground, because there is no way there's that much hail or debris in the atmosphere, especially not right there. I could be wrong. Again, I am not an expert at this, but no, there's got to be debris fallout from that. There's no possible way that that is just something random. It could be dust getting kicked up by this storm. So whatever it is throwing things into the air. So you need to be prepared for that. It is progressing over Silver Lake as we speak. Latest scan just came in, and the others are going to update here soon. That is right way north of everything. There is, as of the mesoscale analysis, there's not a chance of anything happening up there. But like I said, stuff tends to spin up out of nowhere. Looks like debris fallout is generally dropping, and it hopefully has lifted, but we're gonna need to get that confirmed over the next couple of days. Let's check on the updated mesoscale. We still have that violent tornado parameter sitting in western Indiana. Significant tornado potential also agrees with that, not with the severity of it. But if any of these storms can latch onto something, they're going to be able to fire and start spinning. Thermo's surface-based cape is almost negligible up in that area, and it is probably operating strictly off of forcing. Mixed layer cape, most unstable cape, pretty much everything is low in that area. We still have a pocket of 1,000 down here on the Tennessee and Kentucky border. We'll wait until that updates. I would expect tornado warning has been canceled south of Indianapolis. No threat continuing there. Either that or it's about to come in, because there is a lot of rotation still going on in that storm. Jonesville, Columbus, Elizabethtown, you are not in the clear, primarily Columbus and Elizabethtown area. We have a couple spotters up in that area. We got Brandon Lane. I don't recognize any of these names. We don't have any big chasers in the area, unfortunately, to report on it. As we go further down the line, we're going to continue checking out these supercells here. We may see a tornado warning up near Birdseye and English. There is quite a bit of inflow in that storm, and it is starting to bow out. Keep an eye on that. Looks like we've got some pretty significant hail signature going on here, which is what that most likely is. Could also be debris getting picked up by severe thunderstorm winds, but nothing of particular concern in that area. As we continue to move south, we still have lots of small little rotating storms. This guy is very little. It's got neat structure. Probably not going to do anything, but can't rule out it going severe here soon. That is headed east of the Clarksville area up towards Springfield, Greenbrier, Cross Plains area. So keep an eye on the weather in that area. It could change very quickly. Starting to come into range of the Huntsville radar as well. Lots of upper level rotation, and there's a BWER, or Beware. Beware is actually kind of fun, because if there's a Beware, you have to be aware. I kind of hate that I said that, but it's fine. There's a donut in that storm. There's a significant updraft somewhere within there. So we may see a severe warning for that here soon. I wouldn't be shocked. Going to head between Nashville and Murfreesboro in the Smyrna area, so keep an eye on that if you are in that particular path of the storm. Checking back in on West Tennessee, we are about the same. Nothing significant or worrying going on here. We just don't have enough surface-based instability to really kick anything up. That said, these are supercells. They have the bean shape. The updrafts are not strong enough likely to sustain major severe weather or even hail, but I have to say that is a very, very impressive little hook going on here. It has inflow, it has an updraft, it has rotation. So we'll need to watch that, because when I say it has inflow, it has significant inflow actually. Let's just say, as of now, Greenbrier area, you're going to need to watch this. I'm going to direct that a little further north. Greenbrier and Cross Plains, primarily Greenbrier, maybe Ridgetop if it goes east, may need to keep an eye on this. It is definitely rotating at least a little bit. It is a very, very small cell. And we're not expecting anything today, but it only takes one. That is very impressive. Gorman, you've probably got a neat little storm to look at off to your northwest. Here in a few, it's got inflow, it's got rotation. Not worried about it doing anything. It is far too small for that. Sacramento storm is developing some rotation, and it's isolated, so it has a moment that if it happens to want to do anything, there is a chance that it could do it here soon. Not expecting anything. It's not even severe warned. But the potential is there. Everything here could spin. That's the biggest thing, is that this is all spin potential. And where there is spin potential, there is tornado potential. Let's check back in on our previous Akron storm. Let's see if I remember where it was in the first place. That would be helpful. Here we go. Further north. That's right. We still have a debris signature. Probably. No, it's dropped out. Storm has likely dissipated. If there was any rotation, it is pretty much gone now. Claypool and Silver Lake, you are in the clear. Pearson, keep an eye on it. Not likely it's going to spin anything back up, but there is a chance of it doing so. So keep an eye on it. But just for the record, that was a very significant debris cloud for East Akron. If anything got impacted, it was likely, let's see what we got in that area. Anywhere in here, there's a vet clinic. There's probably a couple of houses in this area. Most likely, it was pretty much tree damage. Reed's Racing may have been hit if this was indeed a tornado. Had a few residential areas up here. And further down in this area, again, very just scattered and isolated houses, fortunately. So if anything was hit, hopefully no severe damage. But that's where we're at for the moment. Not looking at anything wild. Not looking at anything crazy. It is a fairly relaxed day. What do we got going on? No tornado warnings at the moment, so we are in the clear. We're in the solid 0 at the moment. We've got a bit of a bookend vortex going on here, but no dominant rotation, so that is not a concern. We are starting to get severe thunderstorm warnings on these storms here. Headed into the Terre Haute area. Marshall. Moonshine, you're in the clear. We're going to want to watch this as it crosses the border. We could see something spin up. There is always that possibility. That boundary is still there. It's outpacing these southern storms, so they are not a concern. Up near the Marshall and the Terre Haute area, that is going to be the primary threat as long as these storms stay just ahead of that boundary. These storms down near Nashville are still trying to do stuff. There is very definite rotation on that. It's not a debris signature. That is going to be double hail cores. Keep an eye on this one for sure. Not expecting to see anything as it is nowhere near in any favorable zone whatsoever. But we do have 50-mile-an-hour winds. We should see a severe thunderstorm warning on this very, very soon as it heads into New Hope and Thompson Station. Definite inflow and rotation in the upper levels of the Gorman storm. Not a severe threat at the moment, but again, keep watching it. This would be really cool to see in person, to be honest with you. Danny King, I envy you. We have a probably awesomely structured storm right here. Definite rotation, not severe enough to warrant a severe warning or a tornado warning, but it probably looks really, really cool in person. So, congratulations, you won. Up near Livermore. Oh, pardon me. Still trying to do something. Not going to do anything. I can pretty much roll that off at the moment. It is probably going to be negative impact. We do still have a tornado warning up near Columbus. Very definite rotation. Strong upper level inflow and lower level inflow. We may see an actual tornado drop out of this here soon. Turbulence in the inflow. If we're going to see a tornado warning, if we're going to see a tornado, it's going to drop in the next 10 minutes. Probably less than that. It may drop as it crosses the interstate. Maybe see a little spin up in this area. Elizabethtown, North Elizabethtown specifically, please be in your shelters. This is a genuine tornado warning with very strong rotation. There may be a tornado on the ground as of this moment, so please be careful. I'm going to continue to watch this as it moves into populated areas. We may have the very beginning of a debris signature there. I don't want to say that yet because those are very small and are very unlikely to actually be a debris signature. This storm is riding the very, very edge of any measurable cape whatsoever. Significant tornado parameter continues to maintain itself in front of these storms here. Although, to be honest, not much of this is updated. Supercell composite is slowly supposed to drop and pretty much die out as we move into about 6 hours out. Very strong couplet headed into Elizabethtown and southern Columbus metro area. I think we may have a tornado on the ground there. It's weak likely, but we definitely do. All right, keep watching this as it goes in to the more populated areas. All right. There is some very aggressive spectrum width here. We're showing upwards of 47 miles an hour with that. And there is an extremely tight, I know OBS is accessing my screen. I told it to. Elizabethtown, this is definitely something probably touching the ground. I would not be surprised at all. We are looking at V route of 88 miles an hour or so. Gate to gate, we're looking somewhere around 100, maybe 110 all the way across the board. So please take this seriously. This is a legitimate tornado warning. This is a legitimate possibility of a tornado. Very, very weak but possible debris signature in there as well as it moves through town. I definitely think this is a fairly serious situation. So please keep an eye on it. Please take it seriously. Get to your safe place if you are anywhere in front of this. Hartsville, you definitely need to be preparing for this to come in. You've probably got about 10 minutes. As of now, it is moving at probably around 55 miles an hour. And you've got about 13 miles. So you've only got a couple minutes to prepare. So start preparing now. Get to your safe place. Get to your shelter. Anywhere beyond this, if this ends up being Longtrack, Greensburg, Adams, and Milford, you need to be prepared to take shelter as well. We may see another tornado warning headed into that area here fairly soon. Getting more severe thunderstorm warnings kind of across the board. Nothing major in terms of tornadoes. This is our primary one right now. We may have a tornado possible tag on this one too. Severe thunderstorm warning. No tornado possible tag, so we're good with that for now. Looking back up north, these storms have pretty much lost all rotation and tornado potential. Not worried about them anymore. We'll keep an eye on them, but there's not likely to be anything happening up in this area. We do have a bookend vortex going on here. Unlikely to produce a tornado. It is very wide and spread out, so I wouldn't be worried about that. We have an embedded supercell in here, but it's not doing all that much. As of now, that's all cleared out. We have multiple gust fronts coming through, which is pretty interesting to see on velocity, to be honest. This is a very layered storm system. Let's take a look at these storms as they are just now crossing the border through Terre Haute. This, I would mark this probably as an area of interest here. It has the inflow, it has the possible instability. May produce something here soon. Not likely to see anything with it, but it does carry a chance of it, so please watch it closely. Let's put you on the Wi-Fi. Not much to see in that area. What we're going to need, again, to continue watching it. Back over to this line here. It's currently moving through the Columbus and Elizabethtown area with the strongest couplet that we've seen in a while with this storm system. This needs to be watched really, really closely. Can we make my camera decide to not bounce back and forth? Thank you. I am still fairly certain we had a tornado near Akron. There was no way that we had that much rotation. Well, not much rotation. That much debris without a tornado. It's moving through Elizabethtown now, headed towards Hartsville. The rotation is slightly slower, but is absolutely still very, very dangerous. Still lots of turbulence embedded in that storm, especially with the inflow. Very strong tornado potential with that potentially very weak debris signature continuing to go. And we've got gate to gate about 120, 130. VROT probably 80 or 90 at least. Let's check back down in on Tennessee here. These storms continue to try and spin, but they don't really have the juice to do anything, fortunately. This storm is merging together. Don't think we're going to see that much more out of it. It is kind of killing itself off, fortunately. And I have somebody at the door. But as of now, the system seems to be wrapping up, so we are probably going to go offline after a pretty successful first stream here. As of now, that's the only tornado warning and maybe the only one that we see for the rest of the night, but that is still a pretty violent tornado potential in there. So we'll keep an eye on it.